They say messaging apps have trumped social media. From Acquia, here's Chuck Fishman. And from Facebook, Deepa Iyengar. They're joined by Holiday's Rob Erskine and Trillia's Christopher Atkinson.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here, and especially thank you to Acquia for being one of our sponsors. Very happy to have you guys here. This is really exciting.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all know about Facebook, but Messenger, you don't know what it is?
I haven't heard of that. Oh, okay.
Well, Messenger spun off into its own app, now on both mobile and desktop. So let's dive into that a little bit.
It's great to be able to connect with people in such a fast and easy way.
I'll record my voice and I'll send like a voice message. I send one to my mom a lot.
I talk with my friends that are in Iceland,
Toronto,
Amsterdam.
It takes a distance away.
I think Messenger improves relationship.
It feels more connected.
I can speak with someone, I can send them a photo, a document. So it makes sense for me to just use one app.
So you kind of have like a lot of control over who's hearing what you have to say.
I like that it's a lot of quick back and forth. You can share really easily.
And they can see it whenever they want, and then they can reply me back whenever they want.
I enjoy emojis, they're kind of funny.
I just look at the picture, that's how I feel.
There's this girl, she's like jumping.
Usually the one that goes like this,
It makes a world of difference for my business. There's something of interest to a customer, they need to see it immediately.
It's less formal and it's less pressure.
There is an issue with my tickets. I use Messenger to tell them my situation, and we got it all sorted out.
it was really great. I got a member of the Australian government message me back on Messenger.
It makes you feel like they care about you.
Very convenient.
I think it's great so far. We can talk to each other across the globe or across the room.
Everyone is just at a fingertip away.
So I am also a huge fan of that sneaky face. But what else makes Messenger so popular? If we look at this chart here, you're over 1 billion users a month, which is pretty insane. What can you attribute Messenger's success to?
Well, there's a lot of things that sort of fold into that 1 billion number. The first thing that you really should think about is there's 4 apps right now that actually have hit that number, which are Facebook, YouTube, Messenger, and WhatsApp. And I think it says a lot that 2 out of the 4 apps with 1 billion users are messaging apps. And for us, there's sort of a large journey that has gotten us here today. But fundamentally, creating Messenger and having it be a very popular standalone app is different from having an Instagram or a Facebook exist. Instagram and Facebook are really content discovery platforms, first and foremost. That's where they began. And to create a platform like that and have it actually become sticky and reach 1 billion users requires a lot of content. You need that network to exist in order for the rest of the network to build and be successful. That's not really true for messaging apps. There is a threshold to which messaging apps are increasingly useful when you have more users, but ultimately I can find delight out of just messaging Chuck. I can just say, hey, I want to have one interaction with him. I find him to be a delightful new friend that I've made, and Chuck and I together can create a really wonderful messaging experience. And so part of the reason Messenger is so successful today is we leverage that one-to-one personal nature of the app, and we started to build functionality on top of it beyond just text messaging. So it started with text, which is very intuitive for a messaging platform, but in 2013 we started to build out other opportunities like voice over IP. Today, Messenger is actually 10% of all voice over IP calls globally, which is a tremendous number. And I think it speaks to the fact that there is value in a lot of the other functionalities that we've built into the app. In 2014, we actually moved it out into a standalone app. We sort of extended the network and said you don't have to have Facebook to use Messenger. And those two moves together of adding new functionalities, we've added voice, we've added video, we've added instant video where you can actually message someone and video them at the same time. And all of that together has rolled into having over 1 billion users every month.
That's great.
Actually, I had a question about when you're talking about functionality and building more things into Messenger.
Yeah.
Obviously, we think of chat blocks and what we can do there. So I know that between April and September of this year, Facebook has built 30,000 chatbots for Messenger alone. So as we look towards 2020, what is your vision? What are you guys looking to do for Messenger?
Yeah, so chatbots are awesome because, one, we didn't build them. 34,000 developers actually built the 30,000 apps that exist today. And so there is a really nice open source nature to how chatbots are created. It's true to our ecosystem. The way that we operate is to allow users to create their own content, just as we're allowing developers to create their own functionalities off of Messenger. The future of that is still being built. So where it is today, as most of you would know as marketers, is it's being tested as a place to raise awareness, tested as a way to engage customers primarily, and as a way to actually engage in purchases within Messenger. And we've seen that be really successful to date, primarily because it is so personal, right? So back in the day, when you wanted to make a purchase, you walked into a store and well, this is still true, but primarily that was how you bought things. And you had a one-to-one engagement with the person who was actually selling you a product. They told you about the product, they had their heart and soul, and they told you about how they actually created it, all of the nuances. You got all of the information that you needed out of that one interaction. Today, I might do that, but I might also go online, buy a product, have it shipped to me in a way that's actually not the way I wanted. Then I need to call a customer service representative, go through an automated voice messaging system, and it begins to be a lot less personal. I don't have the same engagement or the same feeling with my brand the way that I used to. And chat changes that. It means that you can actually have that personal connection with the user or the personal connection with the customer, again, in sort of a callback to our roots in that same way at scale.
That's great, and I actually think that's where Chuck and Acquia come in. They build those connectors, especially in that video we watched. The second half of that video was, chatbots, getting your flight status, all that kind of stuff. Those are, things that, us as developers can build. Chuck, do you want to, emphasize on that?
Sure. I think brands that want to communicate with audiences, whatever platform they're on, they need to have a strategy where they're able to tap into their own content and then use the APIs to then, deal with a Facebook chatbot situation, or in the video that was an Amazon Alexa, an Echo situation. And so if you're developing for Amazon Echo and the Alexa, they call it developing a skill. So you can actually go on there, Amazon, and see how to develop a skill for Alexa and do that. But you need to be able to have an open platform, and that's what Acquia is powering, is a content management and audience management platform to be able to plug into whatever network comes today. So we're talking about Facebook Messenger. When I look out at other big audiences, if I look to Line or WeChat in China, those are audiences that global brands want to tap into. And I think if you look towards the future, you're going to see many new kind of platforms come up. It's not about what Messenger app today is big. It's about where's your community going. So one of the things I looked at was where would brands want to talk to audiences. And if I look at the top social networks on both Google Play and Apple iOS, actually a lot of the networks is in the gaming space. Or if I look at apps overall, 2/3 of the app store is dominated by games. So if I'm looking for like an active, engaged audience, how do I go engage them? And the last idea is, where are authentic kind of brand ambassadors? So has anyone heard of YouNow? So YouNow is this platform for tweens, primarily musicians, content creators, to talk directly to their audiences, and people can give rewards and give points back. So if I'm a brand, I'm thinking about how do I go find an influencer in this YouNow audience to talk to, maybe it's not that one-to-one chat that you're expecting, but at least they can answer questions about the brand and be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And you actually provided us a video, mentioning back to what you were saying about Alexa and all these APIs. You actually gave us, a video that Acquia developed, in sort of tandem about like how this could all work together. So why don't we go ahead and watch that?
Alexa, as gourmet markets, what fruits are on sale today?
We have hundreds of stores. What's your zip code so I can locate the nearest one?
19042.
Here's the fruit that's on sale at Gourmet Market on 72nd and Broadway. Apples are currently 50 cents a pound. Bananas are on sale for 20 cents each.
Very much what
anything else I can help with?
Having that one-to-one conversation with the brand.
Is awesome sauce on sale?
But you have to be able to power this on the back end, right, with APIs, and there's actually, you're pulling from that brand's database and that product management. But it feels authentic to the user, but again, there's technology.
Absolutely.
awesome sauce isn't on sale right now, but I'll notify you when it is. What is your phone number?
978-595-4242.
Great. I'll let you know when awesome sauce is on sale.
You'll have to let me know what awesome sauce is.
But again, you want to have a platform that allows you to make sure you're managing your content and your products and your commerce on the back end that makes it easy to then plug into Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever messaging platform you want to have a conversation with your consumers on.
Yeah.
So I think that was the conversation that we were having earlier about making sure that you have everything set up in the back end, so your APIs and all that, before you just jump into a messaging app and trying to take advantage of that. So what kind of advice do you have for brand marketers in terms of making sure that everything is where it should be on the back end?
So if I'm a brand marketer, I have two important executives that I look to, right? One is kind of the audience development manager who can tell me, like, yes, the tweens today are on You Now, or they're on Musical.ly, or here's where the engaged audiences are. So I kind of want that digital marketer to never stop looking and say, okay, no offense, Facebook Messenger is the total answer. Like, I want to find where the community is, because the community is constantly growing and migrating. Social networks live and die. Communities grow and migrate on. So that's kind of the first person, is the audience manager. On the technical side, I want a head of APIs. I want someone who's continually saying, okay, Snapchat's API hasn't been that open to date, but they're getting better. Okay, what are you doing to work with the Snapchat API so we can do a Snapchat campaign? So having a head of API, I think, is critical, and then also that audience manager to know where are the most engaged digital communities.
You know, one thing I'll say about sort of building on an API is we found through chatbots that one of the key pieces to creating an engaging marketing experience, especially as a brand, is focusing on utility. So understanding not just who your audiences are and where they are, but also what is it that they mean to us? What do we provide them on an emotional level that we can actually exact through an API or through a chatbot? Don't just build to engage, build to delight. I think that adds a lot of value.
Yeah, a really good example of that is I actually just registered to vote through Facebook Messenger using a bot.
Awesome.
And it was actually very helpful in terms of like knowing where to go to vote, where to send them all my stuff in. And it said it with like such personality. It wasn't just like a phone script where you call up a call center and it's like, press 1 to do this. It was very personal and it was very like one-to-one.
Yeah, and we're actually testing internally a couple of new programs around that artificial intelligence-ness of bots, and it can be done to a way where it's actually difficult to understand whether it's a bot or a person, and oftentimes it's both. Maybe the initial interaction is automated, and a bot tells me, okay, a person will be with you in 2 minutes, and then when that person actually comes on, I get sort of that delightful experience of personalization, and it's so seamless for the consumer because it's all happening through this intuitive messenger interface that you might not even notice, and that's the future of customer satisfaction.
When we're talking about this and talking about kind of the future data personalization, how are we thinking about security measures? And I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but how are we talking about security measures with that? So when people are providing their data, when you're collecting all this information in order to personalize this experience, how do we make sure that people feel safe giving you that information?
Yeah, so Facebook's 12 years old, and we've been dealing with privacy and personalization for 8 of those years, pretty much. And we've gotten really good at it. And the chatbot interface is new. And so I think we have enacted some of what we've done on Instagram and other platforms, meaning we've looked at policy integrations. We have an approval process, just as we always have, whether you're using the Facebook login or you're building an app on our pages. We've always had sort of that approval flow to ensure that any of our partners, whether they be individual developers or brands using a Facebook login on their website, are using Facebook user data in a privacy-safe way. And we're going to continue to sort of operate with the same level of rigor through the messenger interface as we have on pages and with all of our other integrations.
Great. So Chuck, we were actually inspired here at Holliday and Trillia to build our own Alexa app. So I just want to go ahead and demo for that for you guys real quick. Alexa, tell the crowd about mobile messaging. Word before, I swear.
Gotta love live demos.
Well, I promise it was cute. But I'll be outside if you guys want to test it again.
I will say we are giving away an Amazon Echo downstairs at the Acquia booth. If anyone wants to put in for that at a cocktail hour.
There you go. Definitely.
Awesome. What do you guys have any last thoughts? Going to chatbots in 2020, and what we can do now to leverage, in 2020.
Yeah, my only piece of advice would be just stay true to the emotions of your consumers. If you build experiences that delight and surprise them, you will continue to find that those are the experiences that add value to your business.
So I always look for the next new emerging platform. You now came out of nowhere, Musically. Make sure you're paying attention to the youth and where they're going too.
And one of the things that we talked about before, what's the app that you live by in terms of discovering new things?
I live by App Annie. So App Annie is intelligence on apps in both iOS and Google Play, and there's actually an app for App Annie.
Yes, so definitely check it out. I checked it out today. Mind blown. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
All right.